Hi, I'm Thomas Bottoms, and this is the Offensive Line, the Chicago Comedy Panel. I am a Chicago-based stand-up comedian, and I'm the host of this show because I'm banging the director. To my left, we have a great panelist, Murphy Rowe. Murphy, introduce yourself.
I'm Murphy Rowe. I'm a Chicago comedian and a Chicago dog walker, and it has been cold as hell this week, but yeah, it's nice in here.
We'll talk about how cold it's been. Now, Murphy, you and I co-produce a comedy show, don't we?
Yeah, we produce the Hound Dog Comedy Showcase at 240 Lounge on Thursday nights on Lawrence and Pulaski, and it's a heck of a good time.
It is. It's a great show. I mean, when you're more scandalous than the strip club next door, you're doing something right.
Yes, sir.
Next to Murphy is the gentleman who looks suspiciously like me, but we're not related. And introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Craig Beeson, and I'm a trying to be a stand-up comedian. And yeah, so.
All right, so we
Yes, and I'm also a barista, and I do a bunch of other part-time stuff as well.
Very nice. And next to Craig, we have the lovely, indomitable
Miss Nikki.
It's Miss Nikki.
Thank you.
Miss Nikki, now tell us about yourself. You are the...
I am the Cancer Queen of Comedy, and that's what I have been dubbed. I do comedy around Chicago, and I also have my own radio show.
Yeah, I got to be a guest on your radio show. That was exciting. And Miss Nikki, now tell us about the lovely woman next to you. Lovely woman, introduce yourself.
You don't have anything nice to say, Miss Nikki.
Yeah, the cat got her tongue, but the 5 cats are hiding, so yeah.
My name is Natalie Nimarella. I am the herpes queen of Chicago comedy. I'm a Chicago-based stand-up comedian, and I run a monthly show at Phyllis's Musical Inn, second Thursday of every month, and it's a lot of fun.
Very nice. Now, Natalie, you call yourself the herpes queen of comedy. I actually almost dated a guy who, like the 4th time I talked to him, he compared me to herpes. Because apparently I was a bump that showed up, and it's not irritating, but it is very annoying.
And you're with them forever.
Oh God, no, I didn't date this guy, I didn't date this guy, no, I'm dating the director. So anyway, Murphy, you brought up the good topic of it's cold outside. Behind us is the glamorous Chicago. I don't know how much of Chicago you can see through no one sees the spacious windows. Are they all fogged up? Okay, I'm sorry, the director's talking to me, so we're good. So Murphy, how cold is it?
The only way that I knew how to describe this week, every time I walked outside, I was just like, damn! Queen Elsa is pissed! She is... I don't know if her boyfriend cheated on her or what, but she is pissed today.
She did not let it go. She's held on and she's beating us.
Yeah. It was
tough. It was like, what, -8 degrees on Thursday, and then it dropped?
I accidentally keyed someone's car with my titty heart on. But I left a note.
I just started a new job. My office was so cold. I had to wear my coat, and then I had to start wearing my gloves. It was so cold. It did eventually warm up that I became the old granny with my coat as a blanket on my lap. I felt so classy.
Now your new coworkers just think you're paralyzed.
Did we hire Franklin Roosevelt?
Nurse. Nurse.
Oh wow. Because you, as a dog walker, how did those dogs, how did those bitches act?
I sympathize. I sympathize with your situation of it being cold in the office, but your office did have walls, and no, it was they didn't like it. It's bad. Okay, it's bad, but one of the funniest things in the world is dogs walking on rock salt. Have you ever seen dogs?
No, I don't think so.
They don't like it.
They don't.
But it's just like, and I feel bad, but it's like my job. Like they know where the snow is. Like, come on, figure it out, dogs. But
I will say that's one of the best things about this time of year is that you get to see the dogs wearing the little boots, and that just makes me happy.
Me too.
I just bought new boots for my baby. She's got her little boots.
That's the only thing I like about this year. The rest of the time I'm like, no.
The only thing is it's like a wrestling match putting them on. I think they're taking bets in Vegas to see if I can get all 4 paws covered. And by the time I get them on and get her outside, like she always manages to yank one off, and then she's like, "I should have kept that on. You're right, mommy. I'm sorry."
Now, do you put sweaters on
She
your
has a
dogs? Okay,
Yeah,
and
she
the
has a
dogs
coat.
you want? They...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
there's some
okay.
nice Argyle ones. Like it's so depressing. You're like, oh my goodness, this dog has a way nicer coat than me. This
My
dog-
husband joked that the dog got a coat before he did, and we've been together way longer than we've gotten the dog. So he's like, "How did this work?" And he refused to take her out with the coat because it's pink until it was like below 0. He's like, "Yeah, okay, fine, whatever." Out.
How does a dog in a pink coat threaten his masculinity? Or is he one of those Boys Town boys taking
He's
the
just
bitch
like,
out for the
"This
stroll?
is not a good look for me. It just doesn't work for me." She's got a pink coat with bling on it and like a little fuzzy collar, hat thing going on, and he's just, it's killing his man point.
that happens to me. Like with I'll have certain dogs. I have this one dog, and it's a little dog, and it's got a leash, and the pink leash, it says on it, "My mom is single." And like I'm walking around, but like,
Natalie,
and certain
take
times,
pointers.
certain times,
You gotta put
like
that on Tinder.
you're trying to keep,
Yeah.
trying to keep the leash out of the puddles, and I don't know.
That's a nice dating tool there. I haven't heard that one before. My mom is single.
Yeah, they were talking that apparently, Murphy, you need to call Natalie so she can walk your dogs and maybe get a date
Yeah.
for next Friday.
I'm desperate.
Now, Murphy, who do you attract with the "My mom is single"?
It gets weird. It gets really weird. People always ask to pet the dog, and then they read it, and then they look up at me, and I just go, "Yup,
I'm not
I'm
mom."
so single." And they get very confused.
Now, Murphy, you actually have a girlfriend.
Yes.
So
that's
how
right.
does she feel about your "My mom is single" leash? Does she feel it keeps the women away from you? Because you're a young, handsome guy. I'm sure. Well, I don't know if women throw their flesh at men. I think that's just in movies, but...
Yeah, no, that hasn't happened to me yet. I don't know what you're talking about. But no, my girlfriend knows. My girlfriend knows that I get solicited in public,
Oh, okay.
and she knows my policy.
Okay, so what's like the
What's
worst thing
policy?
I need to know what they've solicited you with.
Okay, we want to know about solicitation, then we're going to ask about policy. Okay, what's solicitation?
Well,
Give us some examples.
Okay,
How
I-
do people approach Murphy?
I
Ray?
walk dogs in a lot of parks in Chicago. And I don't know, maybe you can shed some light on this, but it seems to be that gay men in the city enjoy their parks.
Yes, they do. They are a multi-purpose facility.
There's just a lot of times where, not a lot, but several times in Chicago, I've been solicited by some older, creepier. It could just. They might not be gay gentlemen. It might just be a weird dog walker fetish type of thing.
Is it a
But,
particular park you're going to?
uh,
No, because
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
keep
you
ending
just
up
wanna-
on Hollywood
I mean,
Beach,
if you're
honey, you're
going to
asking
the
for it.
same place, yeah.
no, it's a couple of different parks. I don't know. I just think I
Hence,
put out a
that
very.
festival, Taste of Chicago, but I had to say that. Anyway, keep going.
Well, I'm curious. I'm curious. What people approach you when you're with your dog?
Actually, I do get people who are always, but they're about the dog. They do not.
They do not talk to you?
No, they're always, are you gonna have have her have babies and puppies and whatnot, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'd like her to finish school first. And,
Find a nice
yeah,
man
find a nice
somehow.
guy. Yeah, no. When I first got her, I think the only thing that bothered me was I would dress her in pink or little dresses with bows, and people were like, "What's his name?" And I was just like, "Well, Or they'd ask me if it was a girl or if it's a boy, and I was like, Pride was last week, and we're just open to all her, exploration and.
What
Is
kind of
that
dog?
people
She's a British bulldog.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
so no wonder you so much.
Oh, so she's actually a bull dyke that you keep putting in the pink ballerina tutu and
I
sending
want
her
her
out
to
to
explore her
school.
options. I want her to know she has that,
Yeah, don't have to become a female wrestler. There's other venues.
That's right. Absolutely. So, no, that's the only thing is she's in all pink, and I tell you her name's Crumpet, but you still want to know, is it a girl? I'm just like, where do you work again?
English bulldog, pink tutu, named Crumpet. What's his name?
Exactly.
See, I can sympathize a little bit with these people just because to me, and this is, I know the science doesn't back this up, but all dogs are boys and all cats are girls. Like, still in my head, like, I don't know.
Have you looked at a dog from the back?
Like, I
mean,
understand.
have you ever?
I understand I'm just
I mean, there's
saying.
some that are little. You can't, you know. But I mean, Crumpet pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't know any of these things. For me, because I have 5 cats. 5 cats. Yeah, I just think like all dog people are crazy and stupid, and that's why they don't know that.
But usually when people get a dog, they just get one dog and they stick to that dog. But people that get cats, they just accumulate all of them over time.
I did.
So many cats.
I did have
It's
a
like,
bunch of
how many
cats.
cats do you need?
I did. I went through the cat thing, and the problem was because my child never had a kitten. That's how we ended up with the 4th cat. Was she wanted to adopt a kitten, but I don't have any of those cats anymore. I just have the one dog. That's
No,
it.
It just seems like it's too much. I need my space too, and cats are just so territorial. And the last cat that I had was such a fucking asshole. Would just walk up to something, just find it, and just knock it off, just because he could.
Oh, that's my cat Boogie.
Yeah.
Did she do that when you weren't there, or did she do it while waiting for you to watch?
Waiting for me
That's
to
what
watch.
Boogie does. She's
Yeah.
like she waits, she stands there, then you finally look at her, and then she knocks it down, and then she stands there some more. She's like, "What you gonna do?"
I'm just gonna start doing that as a person. I like that. Watch your glasses, bitches.
Oops insurance.
Oh God.
Like,
Yeah, it's a
it didn't
valuable
even matter. Like, and it could be, and it wasn't something like plastic that could be totally replaceable. I went and I bought like salt and pepper shakers for my friend because she collects them, and they were from Japan, and they were like had ceramic tops, and they had like a Bakelite set, so like kind of a collector's item I bought from like a really nice antique shop. And this cat just walks up and just boom knocks that shit over. And I'm like,
Did it break?
yeah, the top of it totally broke. Like,
Oh.
I
it's
guess no Ming
irreplaceable.
Dynasty
Yeah.
collection.
No Emperor Hirohito.
No.
Cats
Fiend.
can smell value.
They
know.
can.
That's true.
They know.
They're
what
like
they're
this.
doing.
Man.
Finger hut. Don't touch it. You know?
I think that's why I don't have anything of actual value in my home. I have a lot of kitschy
Yep,
trinkets.
that's why.
but
The cats know the
cats-
catalogs that come through. Yeah, he's ordering from here again. I know what that looks like. Yeah.
Goodness. I've never had to tell anybody I'm a cat person. They apparently enter my apartment and automatically know. There's just lots of crazy cat stuff. So anyway, back to you again, Murphy.
Why are we
So
going
we've
back
talked
to me?
about
Yeah,
I wanna
the
know
different
what-
thing with you, and then
By
there
all
was
means,
the,
Are we
back to you,
taping for
Murphy.
6
what was the
hours?
boundaries? What was the proprieties?
Just
What was
my
that?
look. Oh, policies.
Policies. What
Oh,
is
yeah,
the?
you wanted the
Because
policies.
Yeah,
Natalie, you want to learn about these policies.
I do. I like to know how straight men think,
Yes.
or if they do. But if
I-
they do, I'd like to know.
I don't think that the way my brain works is consistent with a lot of straight men, but my
Okay.
thought
You are
process
very
is that my thought process is: have you ever played the game with your friends where they're like, "Hey, would you eat that poop?" or like, "Would you make out with the weird kid at school?" or like, for like $1 million? And
I
you're
always
like,
play would you eat that poop? The answer's always yes.
Yeah, but like for $1 million, and it's
She's
like,
open,
yeah, I'd do it for $1
no.
million, and then they say like, well, what about 900,000? And you're like, well, yeah, or like,
Yeah.
what about 80,000? Yeah, I can consistently get talked down to about $5,000 to do pretty much anything in life within reason, and so.
What's within reason? This
Yeah.
is
A
It-
link card, and
it
a venture
depen-
card, and all. Like,
It
what's going on?
depends how much I value myself on that day, which I think as comedians we can all identify
Oh,
with.
well.
Highs
that
and
that
lows. There's highs and
changes.
lows. Yeah.
I have $287 in a savings account on the occasion that I might want to take all of us to lunch one day.
Oh well.
So,
Hey, sugar daddy.
hey, why not?
And just think of
My
how
cell
good of a
phone
lunch
bill is due.
$5,000.
Later. Back off, Natalie. Back off.
I thought she was gonna do it, but I'm
Please, I just bought this one.
really nervous. These are our nicest glasses.
Of course,
Quality.
the director, who I'm currently banging, always gets this look on his face every time I come home with a new glass, like, yeah, you got a new glass. He was nice enough, he made room for me in our one kitchen cabinet for the glass, but
you gotta share
now we're
space.
quickly running out of room.
Glasses are practical.
Yeah,
You
we can use
them,
these.
You can entertain with them.
Yeah.
You can.
And they sort of match. And we're back, and I'm still Thomas Bottoms.
I'm still Murphy Rowe.
I'm still Craig Beeson.
I think I miss Nikki.
I'm Natalie Nimrella.
We'll just keep going. We won't mention the fashion change. We just mentioned it. All right. Now, our assignment this week was to talk about the worst date we've ever been on. Oddly enough, for me, the worst date I've never been on is not the date where my date got arrested by the police at the end, taken away in handcuffs, and then the cops. And I did not have a driver's license by this point. My driver's license was suspended. Oh, so I had an expired state ID. Let me get into his car, drive it to my car, where I then got to drive home as the cops followed me to my car. Because that's not the worst date I've ever been on, because we were having fun until the cops pulled us over. I never went out with him again. I know I was judgmental.
He never went outside again.
He might be paroled by now. I don't know. So who would... Natalie, we haven't heard much from you. Tell us about your worst date.
I know, I'm such a wallflower. I do. I was dating this one guy for about 8 months. We were both in law school, but at different law schools, and I don't think it was that serious, but we did like each other, and we had a lot of fun. And one night, we'd been to the movies in the afternoon, and he's just like, hey, later, I have some high school friends that are coming to town, and they want to go clubbing, which I know we don't normally do, but do you want to come do that with us? We'll all go. And these high school friends were girls, and I was like, oh, sure, whatever, yeah, that's fine. He's like, great, well, we'll all meet at my house before we go to the club, and
oh, God.
we'll have some drinks, and then we'll all go to the club together. And we were going to Zentra.
What's Zentra?
It was down on Weed Street by like Hogs and Honeys and Joe's on Weed.
What was so special about Zentra?
Nothing. It was probably one of the worst clubs in the city. That's the point.
Is it exactly what it sounds like it is?
Yes.
Okay. Then I know exactly what it is.
Our director remembers
Does it still
Yeah.
exist? Like, could
No.
it go
The building does.
Oh.
but
Yeah,
that's
the
it.
building does, yeah. No, it was terrible. And so, anyway, I get there, and he's got some roommates, and I know them because we've been dating for like 8 months at this point, and, you know, we're all having fun, whatever. And these girls show up, and they're all very cute, and they come in, and the one's like, oh my God, I bet it pee so bad, because they'd just driven in from the suburbs. And the other this blonde girl that was there goes, oh, okay, well, the bathroom's right down there. It's like the third door on the left. And I was like, that's weird, because we've been dating for 8 months and I've never met this girl. Why does she know where the bathroom is in his apartment? So as the evening goes on, it becomes clear to me that he is cheating on me with this blonde girl, because then she starts pointing out places they've been on dates, like the Green Mill, where they had chocolate martinis, which is like his signature date.
Oh.
And she doesn't.
Is that how he got
and
you?
She also. No, we met at some sort of law school mixer
okay.
thing, but we had been on that date.
We had been for
We've
chocolate
been on
martinis.
that date.
Okay,
Yeah,
go on.
We've
Back
been
to
on the
her.
chocolate martini Green Mill date. She also had absolutely no idea who I was, and so I didn't feel the need to inform her. So I'd just be like, "Oh my gosh, what else have you and Juan been doing?" She's like, "Oh, we went to Green Mill, and they've been doing all these things." And so it becomes very clear to me that he is cheating on me with this girl. And so we get on the train to go down to Zentra, and he comes over, and he knows that I know, and he's just like, well, I'm sorry, I know this is probably awkward for you. He's like, you probably want to go home. And I go, no, I don't want to go home.
This is material, right?
This is what I
This is
love
years
about
ago.
Natalie.
This is years ago now.
Let's dig deeper. Let's keep peeling
Let's
the layers.
keep going. Go on now.
I mean, this is like 2002. I mean, this is a long time ago. So I wasn't doing any type of like stand-up or anything at that point. And I said, no, he's like, he really thought I was going to leave. He thought that he had given me the ultimate, like, F you, and here's this other girl I'm banging, or whatever. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to see this through. And at that point, his roommate looks at me, this other guy, Tom or Tim or something, he's like, I know I'm never going to see you again. He's like, but I really love this, and I love that you're staying. I stayed the whole night, and I made best friends with this girl, and I got all the details about, like, everything that they had ever done. And, he just sat there miserable the whole night, because I was dancing with them. I bought them drinks. We did shots together.
That was actually the best
night ever.
story about.
But it was awful, and then at the end of the night, I told him to go fuck himself. And, and that was the end of that, and then I never talked to him ever again. Although we did have to take the bar exam together in the same room.
Oh.
Yeah, like a year later. But
Did it bother you at all, or you didn't care?
Did you pass?
I didn't care. I did pass. Yes.
Good, well,
Did he pass?
And as you
He
handed
did,
in your
yeah.
test,
He's an
you
attorney
gave
out
him
in
a
the
chocolate
suburbs now.
martini.
Yeah. I should have. But that was the worst date ever. I mean, I ended up, I think, making the best of it by being a complete psycho. And when I tell other guys that story, it doesn't go well because then they think she's so crazy, like she'll stay in a situation like that, and it really scares them. But it was totally worth it because it ruined. I mean, obviously my feelings were hurt, but it totally ruined his night. But that was terrible.
I will say that there's nothing that terrifies straight men more than a woman with a spine. It's their least favorite thing. Our least favorite thing.
I guess you'll want to go home now. No, I don't.
I love it.
I'll stay.
Love it.
I'll stay.
See, my actual worst date was one of those where I took the choice to also, let's see where this goes.
Exactly.
Because it was a guy I'd been flirting with for a while. We hung out a few times. I think we only kissed once. And I had just gotten back from Japan. And he's like, hey, let's get together. You can show me the photos from Japan. Well, we ended up going to Chili's where we had to sit. Yeah, Chili's.
Did you have
Already
half
good
a sandwich
story.
and a cup of soup with them? You have one of those.
No, but that
Kevin
was one of my
Messer's
first dates in
Chicken
Chicago.
crispers.
2 for 12.
Where
Did you share a molten chocolate cake?
no,
Cookie skillet?
no.
Moving on.
We all know
No,
that
we're
the
good.
Chili's went you way too well.
Yeah, they lost me
We are
after.
way too hung up on this Chili's visit.
Yeah, you lost me after chicken crispers. Like I don't know anything else about Chili's.
Chili's is one of those places where you can make fun of the food, but then you're gonna eat it.
Yeah, and you're gonna
And
be happy.
I went there once, and this woman was on a date with a guy, and she ordered a chicken finger basket with a glass of white wine, and I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
She was feeding her inner child.
I know.
I mean, because
I was like, did she just order a chicken finger basket with a glass of white?
but what was the sauce? What was the dipping sauce? Because that makes all the
Oh, of course it was a big bowl of ranch.
Oh.
She
Oh,
ordered a
nice.
bowl of ranch too. And
Yeah.
she's like, can I get like extra? Just like bring me a bowl of ranch.
Didn't
I'm
they have like the
well,
cheese sauce or some kind of special sauce? Or
Because I think you pair the ranch with the Sauvignon Blanc, and the cheese sauce is
Yes.
paired with the cab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a fuller bodied.
The honey mustard goes really well with.
oh yeah, they do. That's
Pinot?
right. That's
Yeah.
With a
right.
Pinot, yeah, a Pinot Noir.
It's when I
Pinot
dated
Noir.
when I dated girls in high school. Like we would go to Chili's and get the chicken finger basket. And, yeah.
But he was drinking Boone's Farm.
And then
The
And those are the,
blue one
only
is the
fingers
best.
that God used.
I was even classy enough for Boone's Farm. I had a fake ID and I would get the $3.99 jug of red
Private
wine. And we would chug from the jug. We were badass kids. We were bad. Okay, I don't know
So
if I...
back to being a badass
that-
kid, you were at Chili's.
So no, we on my worst day. So we're at Chili's and we can't sit at the table because we have to sit at the bar, and they have to change the TV so he can watch the basketball game. So there I am trying to talk to him as he's blatantly staring at the game, and he's like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did go to that bathhouse. I didn't. It wasn't that exciting. The game." So we then. Oh, and I drove, by the way. We then went to a club where he disappears at some point in the club. So I bump into people I'm talking to, only to then see him like in the other side of the room making out with some young guy who he has not introduced me to. We then get into my car and he's like, oh, you know what? I'm a little bit hungry. So I drive through the drive-thru. He gets food only for himself.
Oh! Well, blew all the chilies with you.
Listen,
So,
okay.
what was left? What was left?
I think I paid for Chili's, actually. Hold up, it gets worse. He's like, well, I don't want to eat on the car on the way. Let's go park. And we park at a place. I'm like, there's a lot of men here. What the? You took me to the damn cruise park. And at this point, once I saw him kissing the guy, it's like, let's see how bad we can get. Let's see how bad this could go. So I end up taking him home. I have to use the restroom, and it's one of those things that I'd had chili, so you can think what I might be thinking I might have to do with this restroom. And as I'm contemplating this, he bursts open the door, wearing his little, like, jockey Speedo things, is waddling to the bathroom, because he is trashed off his cork, pushes me aside, stands over the toilet going, "Argh!" this point, I just run to the door, get in my car, and I drive home. And then he asked me out for a second date.
Well, you did something right.
I guess so. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be busy. And then he starts saying I'm a racist. I won't go out with him because he's black.
Well, if the truth hurts. Really.
I mean, if you needed a scapegoat.
You're like, well, look at me. I am racist.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like, yep, you're right. I'll never see you again.
It's not because you're black, it's because your parents are black.
So wait, so he ate the Wendy's at like makeout point, and then you guys made out?
No, there was no
He was
making
saying
out
you
at all.
didn't
No,
make out.
no.
That was supposed to be the after.
No, I shot down all those advances. I was like, no,
Okay.
no. That's like asking, did you give Juan a Hummer in the bathroom? He's like, no. Did you?
No, not that night.
Not that Hummer in bathroom, and you're not flinching to that.
I've done worse in a bathroom.
Go on.
As he
You
pulls
guys
out
never
the
had
leash
sex
that
in a
says
public
single.
bathroom before?
No, I never. I don't think I
No?
have. Have I?
Well, I don't know. There's some like restaurants and clubs and bars and stuff that have like single
lock-in.
person, bathrooms. So yeah.
Oh.
So not one where there's like one handicap stall and like one of us had to stand on the toilet so they couldn't see 4 feet.
Yeah.
I mean that's how you do coke, but that's not how I fuck people.
No one bent you over a urinal and just
Right.
someone stood next door going, oh yeah, she looks like she's having a
That's why people pay attention to certain places when they're in public. To make sure like it's locked, it's a quiet area.
Yeah, but if it's
Oh.
a place that has like like a row of like single shooters, you can go in there and have some fun.
Oh, okay.
And it boils down to, I mean, these are establishments. It's either places where they will knock on the door and be like, hey, one person at a time, or they just don't care.
They don't care. If
That's
they
it.
know
It's
it's the
gonna
right
happen,
place.
yeah.
No, and they know it's a single stall bathroom. That's what they're gonna
They
do.
know who's buying their drinks.
Oh, but there's public places that are not selling drinks that have lockable bathrooms that things have been done in. Just saying.
Yeah.
Where are those places?
Really?
Like a
No,
Foot
I would
Locker?
want drinks.
Amen.
Medical facilities.
Oh, okay.
I worked in healthcare for 20 years.
There you
Oh,
go.
so like the whole Grey's
Lot of
Anatomy,
lockable
let's get
bathrooms.
on in the linen closet, that takes place.
Yes, but it's usually not a linen closet.
What do they choose instead?
Um,
Empty hospital room?
actually,
Patient's bathroom.
Coma patient room.
there's actually there was a facility.
Over a coma patient?
We just moved the patient over. We were watching his vitals. No,
It needed to be rolled anyway. Bed sores.
That's right. It's time to turn them. No, they're actually like medical facilities that have like offices that have like that one bathroom that just locks, and it's usually like off away from traffic.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people have been known. You get to know where there's certain stairways to other like mechanical floors that only certain people have keys to.
Oh.
So you know.
Nice.
So these are people that know the ins and outs of a medical facility.
And
just
then they know
only
the
for
ins-
sole purpose to hook up with other people. That's
You would be you gotta understand. People in this line of work unfortunately work very long hours together. So at some point that chemistry either gets blown over, like okay, I'm over it now, they're cute, I'm past it, or it's into the you know what? This is looking way better than what I got going on in the house. I mean, it's sad but true. It's you
It's
work
4
hard.
a.m.
work
It's
with
4
all
a.m.
these
and I have
people all the
5
time
more
that you
hours.
see. It's like, well, let's just wind up. Yeah.
You work with somebody 10, 12 hours a day. You get a lot of personal information. You get really close with that person. You see them all the time.
Mhm.
I'm the exact
it
same
gets-
way with dogs.
It, it gets.
Intimate.
You see a lot of. I've seen a lot of infidelity
Oh,
at
yeah.
the job.
Have you ever seen this show? It's on Bravo. It's called Vanderpump Rules, and it's
Yes.
my favorite show ever because it's this rich woman from like Beverly Housewives.
She's awesome though.
And-
That woman is awesome.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
and
Her and her
she's
husband
actually
have an
likable and
empire.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just really great because it's all of her like employees, all the service workers are all like having sex with each other, and they like smoke out in the back near the dumpsters. But there's like propane.
Drinking wine.
They drink wine and they're smoking near the dumpsters, but next to the dumpsters are like all the propane tanks that they're smoking, and they like come to work with cold sores.
Well, here's what
over
makes
their
me laugh.
face.
I always look at that crew on that show, and I would love to transplant them in Chicago.
Oh God.
Because it would not work. Like, you know,
No, there's something about Los Angeles.
No,
that-
but I'm saying, do you know how many of those girls would be like toothless? Like
Yeah.
somebody would be punched in the throat. It would end up being an episode of Cops. Some girl would have cut Jax long ago.
Yeah.
He would nose job my ass. He would they would have cut him
They
with
have-
razor blade out the bra.
They had one
You know-
girl on that show. She like got her teeth knocked out because she fell down.
Yeah, but that's because she fell because she's a drunk. I'm talking about, you know, these chicks out here wouldn't play that. You know,
No.
first of all, they'd be like, wait a
I'll
minute,
cut a bitch.
you cutting my shift? I got to work. This is my no. I have this set up. I got babies in daycare. I got to be out of here at 2:30. I can't work evenings. You know what would go on in that show? Oh my goodness! I could just hear the little bitch like, my dear, what'd you say? Bring me a wine. You know, it's like she comes back with like a 40 ounce. Like, look, we need to talk about this. You can't be doing it, and I need to be paid in cash. I keep telling you, they gonna cut my benefits. If I get a check. You know, I want to see them transplant those people here so they can wither and die. Cause like seriously,
Yeah.
I want them to like hit reality. Like they say it's reality. No, bring them
Oh,
here.
that's all.
But I'm just saying, like, bring them here. I would love to see them try to survive.
But
That's
that's
a good
kind
TV
of like the best thing about that show is because these are all people that are not from nobody's from LA, but these are all people like I'm gonna go to LA and be famous. It's like oh now you're
Well, Stassi crap, yeah, because she's like from New Orleans and she's all like.
she was a Katrina victim. And everything.
Yeah, she's like, you know, she's one of those like on a raft somewhere. Like they showed her, we're gonna visit mom in the trailer park. You know, like, but, you know, but in LA, she's like running with Paris and whatnot. You know, like I have my little foo dog and I'm so cute and I have to have wine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and on Sunday champagne. Have to have champagne brunch.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, go back to the bayou. She's probably wrestling gators. You know what I'm saying?
Drinking
She's
Jack.
hand, was it hand fishing the
River monsters.
There you go, exactly. I mean, that's what, you know.
She ain't hand fishing now. It's going to ruin her manicure. All right, we're going to take a break now and we're back. Now, during the break, Miss Nikki was disgusted about how she was going to beat down a woman who got near her husband. But Miss Nikki, you said also during the break that you've never actually had a bad date.
No, I didn't. It was crazy. Like, I would date guys, and all of a sudden it was like we were just together. It was never like, let's go out to dinner. It was like, all of a sudden I was just like.
So you had the Janet Jackson
Yeah,
dating.
that and 1,000.
Yeah, apparently, like, as soon as I got with a guy, it was like, I was just stuck. There was no, I didn't require much. Like, you had a pulse. It worked.
Did they attach a shackle? What?
No, I crazy enough was willing. It was the 80s. I don't know. You know. No, but my first husband, I knew after a while that we all worked in a hospital, and I kind of had this feeling that there was something going on with this one particular girl. So I just put out there that I was having a surprise party for her. I let it leak because I wanted to see if it would get to this person and if they would show up to the surprise party. So the day of the surprise party, I got it catered, open bar. We're gonna do this up. First bitch to walk in the door. It was her. And I was cool and calm because I had to stay right with Jesus. So
Hold up, the other woman showed up at
First
the
guest.
surprise party
First
that the
guest.
wife's holding for her husband.
you got it.
Honey,
So-
you know not to attend the special events. You're waiting until the holidays are over.
You know, she didn't have the side chick rules. I don't know, like they weren't like published yet or whatever, but yeah, she was the first guest there, and it was cool. I was just like, because some people knew at the party what was going on, and others didn't. So as my ex-husband showed up and mingled with the crowd, and I just played played the role. I'm by the food, and he comes over and puts his arm around me. He's like, oh, honey, thank you for this great birthday party, blah, blah, blah. And I just smiled, looked at his face, and I said, I'm not telling you when, how, or where. But one day you coming home to an empty house because this shit is over. So eat and drink and be real merry, baby, because we ain't married no more. And I did. I waited. I waited, and I picked a date that he wasn't home, and I packed up the house. I left him a square toilet paper.
Just the one square.
Just one square.
That's Cheryl Crow says that's all you need.
And I, a toothbrush takes a nasty ring out the toilet bowl. I found that out and hung it up, left it to dry. I don't know if he He learned about that one. At the time, you could go to the bank and leave $5 in the cash station. So yeah, I made a pit stop at the Citibank on the way. I even took his work clothes. Man, that's gonna be rough to go back to work when you don't have a uniform now, isn't it? Took everything. I just took, I was like, yeah, okay. And it was funny because she had the audacity to confront me at the job. Like, I can't believe you did this. I said, wait a minute. Your dime, my time. Here's how we're going to do this. Let me explain this to you. I can't end a lady. I'm leaving a lady. He married me. You the side chick. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I was taking out the trash. You were driving the truck. Merry Christmas. Enjoy that. Because everything you are in right now is something I handed over to you. Happily. All you had to do was ask. But like I said, it takes half a man to get half a woman, and they all hold together. And truthfully, they're actually still married. They're actually still married to this day.
Okay.
So it did work out for them, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to figure out how her working with your husband showing up at his surprise party equals cheating.
Because there was a lot of
you worked there too. You all worked together.
We all worked together.
Yeah.
So it was like I knew certain things.
So you saw some things,
right?
And
her
saw some behaviors.
Well, her
and she
attitude
wasn't
with me
invited.
changed. Her attitude had changed with me over time. So when I threw this party, at this point we weren't even speaking. So for her to be the first person to show up to a surprise party that he didn't even know about, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, okay, you just let me know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
So, but yeah, she actually, I'm still friends with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Our kids are months apart. And when I went to my sister-in-law's baby shower years later, I didn't expect to see him or her.
Oh.
And they were both, there was like a co-ed kind of baby shower. And I'm about 6 months pregnant, and she's just like, hey, Nikki. And I'm like, I don't believe she is trying to talk. And I'm like, as if we're going to have drinks and just, talk and want to catch up. And she just won't let up. She's like, you don't remember me? I said, of course I do. You're the whore that wrecked my marriage. How can I forget? I mean, it's just like you pushed me to the edge. I had to. And everybody's just like, buffet's open. It's just... And I laugh because my ex-father-in-law, who, when we were together, I don't think he really cared for me too much, but he was so happy to see me at the baby shower. He's like, oh my God. No, I started laughing. He's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, you didn't think you could do worse than me, did you?
Nice.
So that's
that's your story. Now, Murphy, you say you've got a doozy of a one, so we'll let Craig go before you.
Okay.
Do you mind covering the rear? Are you okay?
You know I'm okay with
Leave
that.
him.
All right. See, now Murphy's showing up in my house. My boyfriend's the director. Murphy patted me on the back. Is Murphy gonna wind up dead now? No.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at staying alive.
You're pretty good at staying alive. Okay. I don't think Mike's the jealous type. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think the director's the jealous type. And even if he was, just slip him a couple hundred and he'll be cool. Oh, 1,000. Okay.
No,
Yeah, income tax coming.
Or G.
Not one.
Or a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Income tax coming.
The same $5,000
Yeah.
that you would do almost anything.
No, I'm not a cheap whore, so it's
Oh, 20,000.
Yeah.
Not 5,000.
half a year's salary minimum.
I don't know what we're
Yeah,
paying you
still.
for at this point, but it's.
Excuse me.
I don't know.
His silent? No, to not silence.
To
or
not kill Murphy?
Yeah, to not kill Murphy.
Yeah, mine.
For believing
Okay.
that Murphy's having an affair. That's not, no.
Oh,
Murphy has
God.
good hair, though. He has good hair.
I have terrible.
I want to. Raise your hand if you would scalp Murphy's
yeah.
hair and
Yeah,
wear it.
sorry.
Yeah, okay. The director did not raise his hand because he got good hair, too. Okay.
Let
Craig.
the
Oh,
record
yeah.
show.
The first thing is that I don't really go on dates either. Just wind up sleeping with people and then it sticks around. I mean, it's kind of the same.
That's the gay world.
Well, I guess
That
you
is the
two
gay
just have
world.
golden pussies.
You-
Congratulations.
Don't hate.
It's
It's still lining up for it.
it's
Quit playing.
yanking.
I do. Okay.
There you go.
I-
Well, no, but this is the first time I had an actual
Well
date,
played.
and this guy, because I had one of the apps for gay dating, which is just oh, here we're
Grindr,
we're
Growler,
15.
stuff.
Yeah, like that. But this guy
Grindr.
actually was talking to me, and he was starting. Well, first of all, it was scruff. And this guy had a baby in his profile pic, holding a baby in his scruff profile. So that should have been the first red flag.
Now
Which-
describe what the other profiles on Scruff look like and why holding a baby in your picture is a little bit odd.
Headless torsos. I've seen ball gags, like all this. I'm not like replying to any of them, but if you see that, normally it's just like selfies of you or like you're topless in the bathroom, or and once you start to chat with other people, you get a dick pic. No, this guy, like in his profile picture, was holding like his niece, his infant niece. Like, why that? But he was like being nice and stuff, and so we just got to talking. So we met up
The
at.
baby.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
If you need daycare services,
Is that-
I'm your guy.
seriously.
He's one of our happy customers.
Such a
Yeah.
good gay uncle.
So
You
great.
would not believe.
Because it's not so much as that it's a terrible date. This was just the most awkward date, and this should have been like the first red flag. Because this guy was just like, you know, started talking because we met at a bar, and you know, we're kind of hitting it off. I'm like, okay, so maybe he just didn't know the rules. But then he kept going on, and we went to like that one Mexican restaurant on like Halstead, like across from like the 4 a.m. sushi place. Where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
You leave smelling like it, and then like.
Oh.
And they have the lights really dark so you can't see the food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and
You
then
can see the
you can-
cattails hanging out of the burritos.
exactly. So we like left, and then like you know we had like a giant pitcher of margaritas, so we're kind of like a little bit lit. And then he starts talking to me. He's like, "Oh, I've got this like kind of cyst thing above. I went to the doctor. Like we tried to like pop it or like do surgery, but it kept growing back. So we decided to like freeze it, and now it's like black. And he's just telling me this stuff, like."
So he's
like,
telling you about the action in his pants, but it's not the action you want to hear.
Exactly. He was like telling me, I'm like, are you saying that I'm gonna see it later on the first day? I mean,
Just want you to know about this rotting ulcer.
exactly.
In case you
My
decide to,
rotting. It's
you know,
my
if you
twin
put your
that
hand
died
in
in
that
utero.
hole.
Yeah,
My
Just in
exactly.
case this date goes entirely in the
Look,
direction it doesn't
look,
feel like it's
look, and I
going.
put on your hand to protect you.
I mean, just like going on about all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, what? All right, I'm gonna go home because like you just started being like really, really
At
weird.
that point,
about
I'm going to church. I need to
Yeah,
find
well,
out.
he decided that, well, that, and he goes to Roscoe's, and he's also he had to be like 40-something years old. He goes into Roscoe's, and all the bartenders know his name. I'm like, oh, you okay? This is not, yeah. And he was like, oh, this is like my after work place. I'm like, this is Roscoe's. It's not fucking Cheers.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to go to
Everybody
like,
knew his name.
everybody knew his name, and maybe not for
No.
all the right reasons or anything else like that. And then he starts, and he's like getting like, you know, kind of laughing and talking and like trying to be nice out of a conversation of all the things, and he starts like bringing up Sex in the City, and then he's like, oh, all my friends call me the Samantha, and I'm like, I'm done. And then we go on to like the red line, and he's trying to like put his hands in my pants and make out with me and stuff.
That's how he
And
probably
I'm
got
like,
that cootie in the first damn
for
place.
real,
Right? The
that
red
ain't
line.
a sis. That's a.
You can ride the red line, didn't wash his hand at Roscoe's. He was ready to have eating some questionable Mexican food.
Oh, yeah. And the
Wear
thing
basketball
is,
shorts with no underwear.
Right?
well, because he was like really like more than halfway in the bag, but not totally 3 sheets to the wind. But he was going there and was like seeing these young guys like making out, and he
Look,
just.
you want all them antibiotics and you're throwing
Well,
them back.
he's young, and
That'll
then
do
he's
it
like,
too.
"Go Roscoe's, idiot!" Like that. And now, anytime somebody goes to Roscoe's, I just yell out, "Go Roscoe's, idiot!" Like that.
I've got to ask you guys a question because talking about this like weird stuff, I worked for a urologist. I won't mention names. And
Did he have stirrups in his bedroom?
no, I'm gonna tell you this. This is
Urologist
I need to know because I'm sure Natalie probably encountered this. Don't say anything if you have. Just nudge me. There's this guy that came in, and apparently it's a new thing that's going around. He wanted. Well, every guy always comes. If I had a nickel, I could retire. Wanted to enlarge his penis. Not gonna happen. Doctor be working 24/7. But he had inserted himself 7 to 9 pearls under his skin for his woman's pleasure. And all I kept thinking in my head is there's somebody's grandma talking about, baby, I'm getting ready for church. Where's my necklace? I can't seem to find my necklace. Getting late now. Ethel waiting. I mean, this is what's going through my head. But then I looked at the paperwork and I realized that the girl he brought with him is a girlfriend, not a wife. This is not a long-term, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if he breaks up with this how do you explain?
Pearls in your dick?
Yeah, like, okay, these bumps really aren't, you know what I'm saying? Like, touch them, they're pearls. Like, yeah, it's, you guys.
I've seen, like, in porn, like, the guys, they get surgically implanted.
No,
like,
he did
they
it
don't show
himself.
their surgery, but
He did it himself.
the
How did he
afterwards,
get it
yeah,
himself?
Under the skin.
yeah, that just.
And like, he got
Oh.
a couple of them out himself.
Like when you put like butter under the skin of a turkey.
That's what I want, like.
Is that how dicks work?
Did he do
Go back
like a
to
little
the top I
pearl
don't know
turkey
about?
baster?
Dude,
I've never wanted to go after my own penis with a sharp object. How about you guys?
Nope,
all
no,
I'm saying is, at that moment that I heard what that fool had done, I knew how old I really was, because I was like, oh no. First of all, I couldn't imagine going out to dinner and trying to ease into this conversation. And if he thought he was going to spring it on me when I got to the house, oh no. Because, I mean, it drops down, you got lumps and bumps, and I'm supposed to say, oh sure, let's do this. Yeah, what?
That's a Helen Keller dick.
But I'm just picturing like if it was just in like one neat row, like on the
Apparently
top,
it was all over.
because then it was.
No!
Apparently he did this for her. And my thing was too, I was like, okay, you a bad bitch, because how many drinks did you get in here to be like, baby?
See, you talked about
How
having
do you
golden
feel?
pussy. I think this woman had golden pussy. She's like, you know, you're not
Fine.
satisfying me. I want you to take this razor blade and these pearls and make mama happy. And
they
he
came
said
fresh.
yes.
Yeah, you know, like I boiled them in the pot. They're fresh. They're, you know, like, you know, I mean,
Were they even real pearls?
I want to know how many drinks did it take, and what did she do to convince him to say yes? Because I'm just like, I couldn't imagine saying, hey, baby, you know, like, I say graze, my husband's on the floor. It's like, you know.
Murphy, would somebody have to give you $5,000 in order to do that?
Yeah, was that a $5,000? There you
Is that
go.
$5,000?
What would that cost us,
Right.
Murphy?
Oh boy, you're putting me on the spot.
Is it $5,000 per pearl?
Oh, well,
For $5,000 per
there,
pearl, I can
there,
get,
you
I can
might
get
find
pretty
some wiggle room.
pearly for that amount.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a dollar store that got pearls different sizes. You know,
I
they're
don't
simulated.
think the pearl is where I want to skimp on the cost of this procedure. I think the thing that's going to stay in there should be like high quality.
It should be high quality.
jewelry grade.
Yeah.
pearls.
I want the bloodiest,
like
I want
surgical
blood
steel.
pearls. I want,
Blood pearls?
yeah, whatever the blood diamond equivalent of pearls is, I want the nicest.
A Mikimoto pearl, I think.
He's killing Disney's Little Mermaid. Give him up.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know where you go from there.
We're going to take a little break right now. And then we come back, we'll unveil Murphy's story.
I thought you were going to say we'll unveil Murphy's penis with all the
Show some
pearls.
pearls in Murphy's dick.
Show them pearls, baby. Show them pearls.
And we're back. And during the break, Miss Nikki, you shared with us a story about a gentleman who put domino pieces in his penis.
Yes.
And also a friend who had her clitoris pierced and then took it back for a third time because it was a little bit crooked.
Yes.
And all these things with the penises and everything. And I just want to know, at what point in our dating lives did we get past the, I don't know, I'm always the prude of my group. But it's still one of those, like, whenever there was a penis in person, I was like, yay, penis! And Murphy, you date women. How do you feel when the woman takes off her top? Are you like, yay, penis? Do you go, yay, boobies? Or
Yeah.
do you start complaining about the size or the shape?
Like, it doesn't even need to be the first time. Just pretty, yeah. Anytime I've seen a pair of breasts in person, it's been the best. I don't want to be doing anything else. And and they don't need pearls in them, and like they don't need domino pieces. Yeah, that's the thing for me is the human naked form has always been entertaining enough to me. It doesn't. You know,
It doesn't need to be
but,
enhanced.
yeah, to each their own.
Now, Craig, you've been passed around a little bit. More tread than my current
Like
pair
a-
of shoes.
We come
Like
to
a
the roasting
joint at
part
a
of the
Dave
show.
Matthews concert.
God, a Dave Matthews concert. So that's why they like the music. They're stoned out of their
You
mind.
have to
Oh.
That's the only way.
Ooh.
I
Any
could
of those
listen to it
bands.
sober.
Yeah, I bought Crash Into Me, and the whole album is like, well, I can occasionally listen to Crash Into Me, and then we're good. We're good. So how do you feel about penis? Like, do you see penis and go, yay, penis? Or do you go, well, if it was 2 inches bigger, 3 inches smaller?
I do. I'm like, that's not
You
going
just
to
send it
do
home.
anything. I mean, and then it's like surprising because there's one and then like it'll grow bigger and then you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Or sometimes, you know, you never know until you play around. I'm not going to be like, oh, you just took off your pants. I'll touch it and see what happens, and then I'll make a judgment. Like on the fly, I don't know.
The first guy I was
pun
with
intended.
in Chicago, he was about the size of my thumb but thinner, and
Oh, I hate that.
yeah, and he was like, oh baby, the things I'll do to you. It's like, honey, you can't reach. It's not gonna happen. Like there was only one position that we could do, and that involved me like sitting and using the right side of my mouth. Like it was just awful. Now, ladies, you have not spoken.
Oh, really?
Size queen.
Why?
It's not the size of the ship; it's the
You're gonna
motion
play
of
his
the
dick like a
ocean.
Jew's harp?
Pretty much.
Like a little, like Popeye.
You know those ring pops? No.
You're like, oh baby, I'm gonna rock your world. It's like,
Baby
no.
bottle pop.
So ladies, how
Yeah.
do you feel when a gentleman undresses before you? Are you yay? Do you cast judgment? Do you want pearls?
I don't.
Would you put out for a pearl necklace?
Would I?
Real pearl necklace.
Hell no, buy myself one.
Amen.
No way. I put out for way less than that. No, I'm not. I'm definitely. Yeah, I mean, I love penises. I like to see them. I enjoy touching them. Those are all fun things. I'm not a size queen though. Like I don't.
I had an incident similar to Thomas where guy was
There's a
just,
tipping point where.
there was this guy, he was just gorgeous. He was just tall, like strong, dark. Just couldn't wait. The chemistry. Oh, that fool got naked and I was like, baby, it's dark in here. What's going on? When I saw what I saw, I realized that my oven might still be on, and I thought I heard my mother calling. And that was the first time I've ever been like, oh, the stove, gotta go. I just
And you
can't.
left?
Yeah. Oh, I left.
Did you
like-
point and laugh and leave, or did you just come up with an excuse?
I was like, okay, who did I piss off in a past lifetime that I got dealt this hand of cards? But I mean, I know that it's like, okay, you gotta go deeper than that. But it's like, yeah, no, I was very shallow at that stage of my life, and that was
Did
not-
he have other skills?
No,
Oh.
no.
Okay.
Because sometimes if you have those other skills,
No.
you
Yeah,
can compensate.
you can compensate.
Like if someone's a minute man, as long as he pops back up in 5 minutes, you can make it work. Or some people don't cook because they eat out and things like that.
But yeah, no.
No. Now I've had the opposite also happen to me. That when that guy I was engaged to when I was 18, he was 6'10" and I kid you not, and about as thick, and he wanted to do things, and it's like only thing I could do with it other than saying it looked pretty was I didn't own a hammer. So when I had to hang up pictures, I just fluffed him a little bit and hammered it in, and it's like, "Red Day, I'll hammer you." It's like, no.
I mean, I've had the opposite surprise too. Don't get me wrong, but it was like that was just so disappointing because he had like 90%. He was just all good until
He was
that
99%.
Do you
and then
think
the
there's
1%.
any like rhyme or reason or any of the like big hands or big?
No, that shit
No.
I don't think so
doesn't.
either.
It's always
Yeah.
the,
You
the
just
one.
never know.
The one
No.
thing I've known to be true is that you can't predict the size, but people with large members tend to be just the weirdest dudes. And I can't explain it. It's just the people with the biggest ones are just like, and I don't think it's overconfidence or something. It's just they happen to be some weird dudes, and I don't know if that's
That
just
might,
my
I've
experience.
never heard that, but that might
Might
be
be
true.
true.
It might be like radiation just affecting them.
or just like
It
a
could
weird
just
like
be
gene
mutation.
association.
Sure,
and,
yeah, that
like,
could have been it.
See, in the gay world, it's the guys with the really big ones who are kind of like, if they know they have it, and they're also a gym bunny, like they have the sexual bravado and worship my cock. But when you finally like get into bed with them, that's all they have. It's like, worship my... It's like, you can't kiss. I don't enjoy talking to you. There's no cuddling.
You don't
And
I dated this guy that had.
I have to do all the work.
Yeah, I was with this guy, and he had like the most beautiful penis that I've ever seen. And he was like a glazier, and he I took him to my house, and he saw my bookshelf and had all these books. And he's like, "You read all these books?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I read all these books." I'm like, I hate reading," and I'm like,
Yeah, that.
I dumped him the next morning.
That's the.
What's that banjo song? Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun. There you go. Yeah, we were hearing that in the background.
See, I found myself in this weird like place in my life where I can't meet anybody because I need to be intellectually stimulated by someone to be attracted to them, and if they're smart enough for me to be attracted to them because of their mind, they're smart enough to not date a comedian. You know, so they're just like, this is a terrible choice. I'm gonna go talk to one of these guys that can buy me a drink.
I will say this though, I did date a guy for a couple of years, and it was strictly, we put it all out on the table. This was going to be a strictly sexual relationship. There was going to be no anniversaries, none of that, change my oil, keep it moving. And it's seriously, that's what it was. And it was the best relationship at that time for me because we could talk about anything and everything, and it wasn't that I considered him a freak or me a freak, but we were so open with each other that after we did break up, I broke it off. I wanted to finally have a relationship, and he actually called me months later having the worst time dating because he was like, I can't find somebody as open as you. And I said, because you are now in this relationship, and maybe that's what it is. Don't look at it that way, because really the biggest sex organ is the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had only 2 friends with benefits in my life, that kind of situation. And the first one actually helped me a lot because I didn't enjoy sex until I was in my late 20s. And I've had to say this in front of people who enjoyed me in my teenage years. I'm like, yeah, I didn't enjoy sex until my late 20s. And
I was just being super cool about it the whole time. You're fucking welcome. I'm sorry, we're not swearing.
Yeah, and it was because you don't have those emotional weights, and you're in a
different place.
You're in a different place, and you know what the end goal is. That it's not really that scary. You can, hey, I want to try this. Hey, I want to try that. Let's do this, and then he's like, hey, I like this, and hey, I don't, and I realized that the ones before my early 20s just weren't good lovers.
I'm just glad I did everything before the internet. The internet and cell phone.
See, Craig, you were talking about profile pictures, and I actually had a picture I would send out when I went on AOL chat rooms. Back in the day when I was...
if you had an AOL chat room, you were the shit.
How long ago was that? Okay, I need to lie. I was 12. There we go. I was 12. Because that was a long time ago. Anyway, I didn't know how I didn't know how you were supposed to do profile pictures, so I knew some people went to Glamour Shots and had this really good picture. Some of them for AOL.
Okay.
Some of it were just their dick pics, or I'm shirtless in the shower. Well, I had broken my foot a year earlier, and I had this big purple cast. I still had the hospital gown. So my profile picture was the picture of me holding a stuffed animal, wearing the hospital gown, purple cast, hitchhiking on the side of the road.
Nice.
Never got me laid, but it actually got me one of the best friends in my life. So, because I sent him the picture, he's like, okay, I need to talk to you. This picture isn't sexy at all, but you are a freak, and I want to know.
And at that point, MySpace lowered the standards. Tom was like, piece of cake from here.
Was that guy, it wasn't in your top 8 on your MySpace?
If I ever had
with Tom.
I couldn't get on MySpace because I didn't like how Tom had to be your best friend, because I don't like having friends with the same name as me. I just causes confusion. So, are we ready? Drum roll for Murphy's
I was waiting for this.
decadent, seductive, bad date story.
Okay, my bad date story starts where any date story should start. The Megabus.
There it is.
Yep. I led with it. So it's in college, and we're waiting to go home it's got to be Christmas break or something, and we're taking the Megabus home. And if you don't know, the Megabus is a great bus service where you can get fares as low as like $1, but that means you get the population of people who need to travel great distances for $1, and that's some interesting folk. And so, we get on the Megabus, we're waiting to get on, and a bunch of college students going home for the holidays. And there's a girl I don't recognize. I'm traveling with some friends of mine, and she's really cute. And I'm like, hey, and my friends are female. They just happen to be, so it makes this statement way less creepy. I was just like, hey, dibs the spot next to that girl, right? And it was like totally kidding. Then we get on the bus, and the only spot open is the one next to that girl, and so I have to sheepishly sit next to this girl. And now I grew up with sisters, and so I heard all the horror stories of like, oh my god, I was on the plane for 4 hours, and this guy wouldn't stop hitting on me, and he couldn't get the hint that I wasn't interested, yada yada. So I've always been the type of person where I'm not gonna hit on you if we're commuting somewhere. Like, we both have a place, we're both trying to get somewhere, we don't give a crap about life. Like, you can watch, you know, Lilo and Stitch on your DVD player and I'll fall asleep for 4 hours. Great. But like, she was very intent on having a conversation with me. And it was like, fine. So we talked for a couple hours. Then we get off the bus at a rest stop and then get back on. Like, all right, we had 2 hours of conversation. Like, now she's going to stop talking to me and I can sleep like I wanted to on this bus. And like, I'm not hitting on this woman. And she starts the conversation again. It's a 6-hour bus ride. We talk for the entire 6 hours. Which, to a certain extent, yeah, that's a great person you just met. We just had conversation for 6 hours. But from my perspective, I'm not going to hit on you on a Megabus. And so, like, I got off the bus. I was like, hey, it was great meeting you. Like, I'll see you around. And then, like, you know, it was the internet age, and she found me, I found her, and so we ended up going on a date. And this is where the worst date of all time happens. Because I don't know if you've ever gone on a first date with someone when you've already talked for 6 hours. We had cleared out 6 whole hours of intense conversation back and forth. So if that was in real dating, that's like a half an hour per each date. That's like 12 dates. And so we show up and we're like, so, yeah, how are things from the last 6-hour conversation? We show up at this place, we're gonna go dancing. And it's this place that has live music, and we walk in, and we're the first people there. Like, it had started at like 9, we show up around 10, first people there, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is gonna be the worst.
DJ's like my check.
And it's just like slutty waitresses are walking around with like a tray with nothing on it, and nobody's there, and they're just like, oh my goodness. And so I'm like, well, this is gonna be terrible because we don't have anything to talk about. There's no dancing going on. Movie theater across the street, let's go check it out. All the movies had already started, but no movies left to be seen. I was like, all right, there's a cute like candy place down the street. We'll walk there, get some, and this is middle of the winter because it's Christmas time.
Oh man!
We walk to this candy shop, closed. Finally, we're both under 21. We sneak into this bar and take a couple of shots, and it's just the sketchiest. Like, we walk in and it's like the type of nightclub where it's like, oh, you're a stripper and this is your night off, and this is like this is where you went to party, and all these sketchy guys knew that this is where off-duty strippers party, and that's who they want to party with. So that was the pop, and we walk in like these 2 19-year-olds, like, we're on this weird date. Oh my god!
As cheaters are pulling in the parking lot. Yeah.
So it ends up, we go to get a cup of coffee, and we walk into this place, and we like. And I know that she's a journalism major. And we walk in, and this is when I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. She takes a look at the Onion. And I still remember it. The Onion headline was, Pope accidentally washes Shroud of Turin with red sock. And he's holding up a pink Shroud of Turin. She's a journalism major, and she looks at the Onion, picks it up, and kind of reads the title, and she goes, huh, I can't believe that happened. And I was like, oh my goodness, do you not... I don't think that I can talk to you. I think 6 hours was the amount that I could talk to you, and it just so happened that seemed like we had a shit ton in common. And it was just like, nope, that was the max that we had to talk about. I was just like, well, your degree, and Google what satire is. And,
I'll see you on the Megabus.
And yeah, and we'll see you on the way back to school in a couple of weeks. And it was terrible.
If Megabus was smart, they would set up like a dating website and like call it Megabus Mingles or
A Megabus mixer.
Megabus.
They
They should.
One.
Just go on a big long 6-hour ride on the Megabus as your first date.
And everybody changed seats.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, you do like a speed dating.
Yeah.
First time that I ever
Every
rode.
time we see a Texas license plate, we switch seats.
The first time I ever rode Megabus, I knew that there was like really nobody on it, but there was this lady. She was like, "Oh, the lady who was driving, she was like, oh, we used to play movies and stuff on like the big TV screens that they would have, but somebody apparently showed a bootleg movie over it, so they're not allowed to show movies on Megabus anymore."
Wow.
I was like, I'm not gonna argue.
I believe
with
those
her.
drivers are going to heaven because I can only imagine all the stuff they see.
Oh.
Yeah. I will pay the extra $25. I'll do Amtrak, which I can.
So Megabus was really awful.
Yeah,
If you
I
need to
rode
get-
a
buses
few
are
times.
okay, aren't
If you need to get
The
to
bus is
Kansas City
okay.
on a budget,
It's the
Megabus
people.
is your
Yeah.
route. But
And it's like, and I don't have the far because we'll take it to St. Louis. It's where my family's at, and that's it. I don't go any further.
We shouldn't do like a Route 66 trip out to LA or something.
Yeah, we
Megabus,
should.
we should.
I
Just do it.
I feel like the response to how is Megabus? The response is that make more money in your life. Like just do better, and so you can afford.
They
a
should
plane
just
ticket.
take like high school seniors on a Megabus trip and be like, "Is this what you want for the rest of your life? Like,
And
make
go
good
to
choices."
college.
Exactly.
Is your
Exactly.
suitcase full of cocaine?
Scared straight.
Get a Megabus. Take Megabus.
We should get a group of comedians to take over a Megabus.
We should.
Oh.
Just stage
Those
the
are
whole thing
awful.
for like 5 people that
Like
don't
to
know that
Omaha?
we're in.
Like, what's the worst place we could go to on a Megabus?
Like
Cleveland.
Des Moines.
Cleveland?
No, like Des Moines.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like Great Plains.
Yeah.
I would like to see Mount Rushmore. Do you think there's a Megabus that gets us
There's
to South
gotta
Dakota?
be.
Oh my god,
That
the
would be
drive
hilarious.
driving through the Dakotas
Oh,
is
that would
exactly
be-
what
That's what I like.
Oh,
that.
Just
wow.
everybody
Okay.
just fill a cooler full of booze.
As someone
I'm
who,
bringing the friends here.
as someone,
I do a tour de Franzia.
There you go.
as someone who has driven through Kansas more times than I want to admit to, you do not know what you're doing by going to the Great Plains. We will all go insane. We will be like that
There's
episode of
nothing.
Wagon Train
That's what I want.
where they all slowly go insane and kill each other, and there's some donkey dragging a door that everyone's holding on to. That is our fate.
Yeah. If
I'm
you're going,
fine with that.
if you're going through Kansas, unless
It's
you're
a
one of the people
deterrent.
that's like, ooh, new type of grass. Like it's just, it's. Not good.
I would make sure I would drive through Kansas at night so I would not see
Yeah.
the scenery.
Wow.
It was that bad.
It is. I
It
was
was that
driven through
bad.
Kansas once when I was like 10 years old, and we were on a road trip to Colorado, and it's like, wow, Kansas really, Kansas
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
The second time
Wow.
I drove through Kansas, there was like crazy fog, and so you could only see like 10 feet away, and that was enough. That was all we needed. It was just surrounded by fog.
And that's the thing that fucks me up. Like the Wizard of Oz, she wanted to go back to Kansas. I'm like,
No!
why? Why? You can live in a land of talking trees
Yeah,
and
look at
flying
how much
monkeys
cool
and,
stuff happened to you
and
this
gay
week.
lions. You want to go back to Kansas?
She had friends. She had fashionable shoes. Why go back to Kansas? And then she acted happy. Lies.
You know?
Dorothy lied to us.
Everything really.
All right.
You go into Kansas, everything is sepia tone.
All right, we're gonna call it a night, everybody. I've been Thomas Bottoms. This has been the offensive line.
I'm Murphy Rowe.
Creepy Sand.
Miss Nikki.
Natalie Namarella.
Please check us out next time. Have a good night.